Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Open Source Cafe. Really excited for this one because today we're talking about all things education and Shem's journey as a CTO. So before we get started, Shem, would you like to tell our viewers a little bit more about yourself and what you do?
Cool. Yes. First of all, thank you for having me. I'm Shem Magnezi. I'm from Tel Aviv, Israel. Currently, the co-founder CTO of Wilco. And generally speaking, I'm like an software engineer in the past, I don't know, 15 years, something like this, since my 20s or a little bit before. This is what I love to do. This is what I'm doing on my free time, and this is like generally my only hobby and my passion, writing code and developing and building stuff.
Amazing. Well, thanks a lot for sharing. And this is what I like when I interact with, startup founders that they're trying to solve challenges and they like to build things. It's like making something out of nothing. Most people who have, like who are passionate about tech. So students often ask me, how do you learn all these new things and how do you stay up to date and how do you code for so long or whatever? So if you have passion and not just in tech, right? Whatever job you're doing, if you have fun while doing it, if it's your passion, then that makes things a little bit easier, if you will.
Definitely, definitely.
But yeah, thanks for sharing, Shem, and looking forward to speaking with you. Can you tell us a little bit more about your journey? How you got started in tech, and before Wilco, what were you doing? Were you always like into startups, or do you work at like some companies as well, or what was the journey that led you to where you are today?
So I think I started in my when I was a teenage, building simple websites, um, trying to understand what is HTML, what is CSS, what is JavaScript, just building stuff for my friends, for myself. This is like the first time that I actually writing real code. Um, then I don't consider it real hacking or real software engineering, but this is the first time that I understand what I can do with code, what I'm able to do with my computer, and this is like open my brain to a lot of amazing opportunities. Uh, but my real software engineering experience started, I think, on my 20s. When I worked with a couple of startups. I started mainly doing backend stuff, um, big data, working with data processing. Um, I think that teach me a lot about how code and how to develop systems in high volumes with tons of users. What will happen when you drop a packet or drop a message, and how it will affect the users. But something bothered me there. Like I didn't touch the UI. I didn't understand what the users are doing. I didn't understand how my changes to the code affected the users and how the integration interaction goes to there. And I want to get closer to the users, whether it's the UI or the product requirements. And then I moved to another startup where I started as a mobile engineer. I started as an iOS. I didn't have any experience in mobile or UI. So this is the first job where I actually started writing pixel on the screen. I started with the iOS. This is something that we write some kind of gallery. So it was iOS, and then I moved to Android, doing very, very similar things in Android and what I did in mobile. So this is like the first time where I actually see my pixels or my code affected real users.
Amazing. Well, thanks a lot for sharing. And now let's talk a little bit more about Wilco. By the way, we're running an event with Wilco, and the response from the community has been just really overwhelming. It's like in under 24 hours of announcement, we got like 1,200 people take part in the leaderboard. So do check out the links in the description below to take part. And if the leaderboard is full, then we will add you in the next one, which will be happening very shortly. So check out the links in the description below, and I'll let Shem share a little bit more about it. So where did the idea come for Wilco, and why did you decide to create, and what challenges are you trying to solve?
So after like I explained all my history and everything, but after all those startup things, I started working in big companies, whether it's AVG that acquire our startup, and after this WeWork and Facebook, and I saw the challenges in big companies and what they are doing, and I saw that within those companies, many people join, whether it's junior engineers, whether it's like mid engineers, or even senior engineers, and there was not a real structure around how to upskill them, how to train them, how to make them better, how to help them grow inside their role. And I spent tons of times. Yes, I was an engineer on writing code and building features, but I spent most of the time helping others, building their potential, helping them grow, whether it's mentoring, whether it's helping them with pair programming, whether it's working with the team leads and the department, the one that manages the department, and how to help their talent and how to help their engineers grow and unlock their potential. This is something that I find it very, very exciting for me because I help people, but also I found how it's helpful for the organization, where we have people in the organization that help others and help them grow and build them. And I saw many, many people around me out there doing it in a good way. And on the other side, I saw other people in other teams where they don't have those people and they feeling lost, or friends in other companies that they just didn't have the opportunity, didn't have the one that believed them, and they were lost or just wasting their time. So me and the other co-founders on and alone talked a lot about this, where we see other people and why some people succeed and other people doesn't succeed. Though those like talent is not very different. Those people are not very different. It's just by mistake those people join this team or these people join this company. And we want to create some kind of structural way to help them grow. We take a look on our history and our journey and the people that we know. And we want to understand what helped us, what help us to grow, what are the things that we did that make us being better engineers. So we talked a lot about how some people give us the opportunities, and we create some kind of side project to learn new things, and we add specific bugs or incidents that our team lead give us the lead to fix those, and only by doing we were able to grow. Only by experience we were able to grow, and we create some kind of sandbox to other engineers so they will be able to practice and grow and experience their hands-on. So this is the motivation behind Wilco. We want to create some kind of flight simulator, like you are used to practice on your flight skills. Want to create the same for engineers.
Amazing. And it's also like what I have seen with platforms like Wilco is more interactive. It's more like engaging. You can learn the theory part from the documentation or whatever, but making things interactive, I think that's key. And definitely, like, the response from the community has been great. So I wish you all the best. It's a great thing you're doing. Um, that's something I have seen as well. The traditional challenges from like the current like boot camps and the scenarios, because I am a teacher. I love teaching. And I always say, whatever you're learning from online, make sure you apply that somewhere. It doesn't matter how many courses you watch, especially with development. You have to get hands-on practice, even with like at Wilco or without Wilco even. If you're learning somewhere, watching a YouTube video, for example, if you don't apply that somewhere, make a project or something, you will not make the most out of it. I think that experience is really key, and what Wilco really points towards. Well, thanks a lot for sharing. Let's talk a little bit more about your journey as a CTO, and what do you do?
Um, that's funny because I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what is my title, and every week it's completely different. Um, I can tell you what is not for me. Okay, and the CTO is very general, and I met tons of CTOs that everyone is taking his own take on this part. I feel that there is two tracks. Okay, for engineering. Let's take software engineering. There is the you start as a junior and middle level in a team, and you coding and building features and fixing bugs and etc. And is your beginning of your career. Then eventually you need to decide what are you more. You are a manager or you are an individual contributor. And those are different skill set. Those are different roles. Being individual contributor is more like technical mindset where you lead project and you work with the code and you know the architecture and you can build feature for the long run, and the scope is bigger. On the other end, managers are managing, like they're doing the roadmap overview. They know how to manage your project. They manage two people, help them grow, hiring, and etc. So in some way in your software engineering, you need to decide what you are more. You are a manager or individual contributor, and you need to do this decision. So taking it to the next level, I feel like CTO is the most senior individual contributor in the company. Okay, CTO, she is more like on the architecture. She is more engaging in the technical decisions, in the design, and thinking about how to build the system behind the scene and how to build it so it will support other use cases and future product roadmaps. Okay. On the other end, someone need to manage the R&D department, right? To understand what is the roadmap, how to deliver, what kind of teams you want to build, what kind of people you want to bring to the company, what kind of skills you miss, and how to make the team better, and how to make every individual better and grow them. So this is not the CTO. There is should be dedicated manager for the R&D, and it's probably needs some kind of head of R&D or VP R&D or something like this. The CTO is the individual contributor that help them, the same way as a team, as a manager and a senior engineer that help with the technical stuff. So an R&D department, whether it's in a startup of 5 people, maybe 5 people is not enough to manage, but maybe it's a startup of 20 people or 100 people, there's the IC, there's the CTO, and the VP R&D, that is the manager. Hope that.
I love that. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I've worked at startups before. I think. Let me ask you this question: how many people work at Wilco?
So we are 20 people.
That's the reason, right? If the team is so small, everyone ends up doing a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
So that's my case also. I work at Civo, and we do like whatever you are interested in. And when I joined, they were like, "You're a developer advocate, but you want to do development, you want to do SRE, you want to do whatever, go for it."
I think this is the magic.
Stuff like that.
This is the magic with startups. Like you are a developer, yes, but if you will be in a big company with a big team, you are a backend developer with this specific area. But where you're a software engineer in startup, you're probably going to do some kind of DevOps, and you're probably going to touch the UI too, and you do some kind of support and product management, and maybe you're going to join sales talks. So I think this is the magic, and everyone, including the CDO, also doing a little bit of bug fixing and support and sales and customer success.
Yeah, no, that's true. Could not agree more, and that's something definitely I can vouch for, that I've seen when the team is really small. I think that's the beauty of it. I love this particular thing, but yeah, it's important to find the right balance. which is what brings me to the next question. What does your day to day look like, if you can summarize it briefly?
So again, it's really depend, and it will change between project that we are focused on. But how speaking, like generally speaking, my day to day look like a little bit of code on the from the task backlog. It probably won't be the big and crucial one. It's more like the small one that I am able to fix, or the very complicated one that maybe it's related to old code that no one really knows. Hopefully, everyone knows all the code, but there are some areas that that I'm more familiar with others. So maybe it's taking a little bit of coding exercise. The next one is talking with customers. Specifically in my role, I'm talking a lot about with customers and what we are able to deliver them and how we are able to work together, because I know the system very much, and I know what we can do and what we can do and what we are able to do in small effort. So I'm sitting a lot with customers and partners. A little bit of high level stuff. We don't have a lot of meetings, but we have some meetings with like the C levels of the managers about future plans and what are the current status and where we stand, and a lot about helping other engineers with big projects where we code reviews, system design reviews, pairing with them, and understand what they are working on, and like being a multiplier and help them throughout the work.
Amazing. Well, thanks a lot for sharing. So you're like the glue for the tech team as such. All right. Cool. Thanks a lot for sharing. And as a CTO, can you maybe also share a little bit more about, um, you know, what are the things that you have learned, and like some challenges you may have faced, and for future CTOs who are aspiring to be, any recommendation or best practices that you'd like to recommend about how they can get started?
So as a CTO, you need to get used to or change your mindset and not get attached too much to the code. You very fast gonna have too many people or too many work to do, and you won't be able to watch and review every code that enters the system. Um, and most of the CTOs starting as at least a couple of months of building the whole system on their own, because they are the only developers there, or maybe there is one more, but they are the experts in the system, and they usually know all the code and every piece of line that enters the system. And it takes them a while um, to um, to let go, and let others control the system, and let others decide, and let others to put some features without them reviewing every stuff. So you need to get better and practice in the letting go, because in the end of the day you won't have time, and you bring people that hopefully are very smart, and you trust them, and give them the power to change the system, and trust them to do a better job. What you need to do and what you need to practice is always think about the next 3 months, always think about the next 6 months. What are the technical barriers? What are the product requirements that you know that gonna come? What are the challenges that you feel you're gonna tackle them, and tackle them months before, and not waiting for the last minute. You don't need to build it, but just be there, and make sure you you thought about that. You raise the questions. You write some kind of docs. Um, you have some kind of mitigation plan to fix it.
Amazing. Well, thanks a lot for sharing, and really appreciate you giving the time. Hopefully, this was insightful, and really, keep up the great work at Wilco. I think that's really solving a real world challenge, especially what I see when interacting with students around the world. It was great learning about your, the journey and your tips and your challenges and your day to day life. So, really appreciate you giving the time. Hopefully, it would help clear things up for many students who watch. But yeah, for everyone else, do check out the Trivilco, and the links can be found in the description below. We're running a great initiative, a leaderboard challenge. You can win some um, nice goodies and mentorship sessions. But yeah, thanks for joining, Shem. Really appreciate you giving the time, and looking forward to it. And just one last thing: what is next for Wilco?
What's next for Wilco?
If we
Um,
talk about like a few years down the line, what is your mission? Like, what do you want to do?
so in the end of the day, we want like to be the go-to place for engineers. It can be software engineers, it can be um, DevOps people, it can be support people, product managers. This is the place to understand real life scenarios and practice on their skills, to be able to be ready to real job, to be ready to real scenarios, to able to practice their hands-on skill. So this is the go-to place for everyone to mimic real work with the fun and very engaging. It's like the game that you play to be better as yourself.
Cool. Well, thanks a lot for sharing. Looking forward to it. And do join the Wilco community as well. You can join the Discord channel, connect with other, folks who are learning. And yeah, thanks a lot for watching. Check out the links in the description. We'll see you in the next one. Have a great day. Bye.